Hi, good morning. Welcome to Top of the World News. I'm Jim Lynch. Please like and subscribe. Please follow me on all forms of social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and the Backstage page. We're still working with the screenplay, so keep an eye out for that. Okay, this week I want to talk about something we've talked about before. But I think it's something that's very important. I think it's something that a lot of salespeople, especially new ones, don't do a lot of. And that is giving the free speech. It is a legacy that you can have to yourself and leave for yourself. Most salespeople are frantically trying to market themselves. Back in the old days, it was through brochures and direct mail, and now it's advanced to emails and then to social media, and obviously there's still some, the in-person meetings and the cold calls and things of that nature in order to be able to get your name out there and market yourself. And as I say, as a salesperson, the first thing you need to figure out is how many contacts do I need to make in order to make one sale. Now, how you make those contacts has changed over the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And as I said, it's gone from the brochures and the direct mail to social media and things of that nature. So, but as I say, you got to figure out the best way to do that. And a lot of it is a term that I coin expensive frustration, because that could be a very difficult process trying to figure out how many contacts do I need to make and which and how is it that I should make those contacts to provide the most success. I firmly believe that the in-person meeting and the handwritten notes and if not that, the direct contact on the telephone are going to provide you a much greater rate of return than emailing and social media and things of that nature. However, you can contact 1,000 people in an email blast in one keystroke. You can get a message out to all of your followers on Twitter, which could be 1,000, could be 10,000, could be 1,000,000, with one keystroke. So you kind of have to weigh, what is the most effective for you. But getting back to giving the free speech, the best way, however you do it, the best way to market yourself is to give of yourself. As we've talked about before, you have to give to get. You need to expose yourself and get yourself out there to your prospects. Now, my advice is to speak, and to speak for free. Free speech will pay, and it will pay big, and it has rewards, and it has big rewards. A lot of my living comes from speaking to groups of people. Well, in order for me to be able to be paid to speak, I had to give a lot of free speeches. And while it's not a very effective business model, as we talked about before, you have to give to get. And other than this forum, I give very few free speeches at this particular point in my career. But I'm going to give you the 7 success tactics to a free speech. And the first thing is you don't want to give a sales pitch, but you want to speak on your topic. You want to think about interesting stuff to the audience that kind of teases your stuff, but you want to give a great speech. Okay, if I were a salesperson who sold house paint for the major paint manufacturers, maybe I would look to give a speech to a group of interior designers, kind of explaining how color can aid to a room's presentation and allow it to pop and make it something that is sellable. I'm not speaking directly on my product or service, but I'm explaining how the process can help in what it is that they do. You want to pick a great audience. Okay? If you pick a lousy audience, you're going to have a lousy speech, and it's not going to be worth your time and effort to do so. You want to pick great groups, high profile, and very, very important, you must speak to a group who has big wigs, who has decision makers, who can make decisions on whether or not to buy products or services. Okay, the more CEOs and CFOs, the more C-level people you can speak to, the better off you're going to be. Give a handout. Okay, and I know we talk about a lot about the importance of social media and electronic media and email and things of that nature, but give a handout. Give a handout with your contact information attached, something that's tangible that they can take with them. Because if you're going to give out an email link or something of that nature, or Twitter handle, things of that nature, that's something they have to write down, half of them aren't going to do it. So you want to give a handout that's going to help the audience be able to know who you are and what it is you do, but also can follow along with the presentation and precludes you from having to memorize the entire talk, and it gives, as I said, the audience a way with which to contact you. 4, you want to videotape it. Sorry about that. You want to videotape it. Okay. You want to be able to, after the talk, play the video at home and see how good you really are, as opposed to how good you think that you are. Okay. 5. Ask for audience evaluations. When you give out your handout at the end of the presentation, you want to also give a space for comments and allow people to comment on what it is they've seen, ways that it can be better, ways that maybe more information you might need to provide. Look for constructive criticism. Don't look for butt kissing. That's not going to help you. Okay. Give value. Get leads. At the end of your call, offer something for free in exchange for their card. Okay. I'll go back to my paint distributor example. Maybe give out the little tiny samples of paint that folks could try, and just to kind of see what it looks like on the wall and say, that's not too bad. Maybe I'll order 10 gallons of whatever. Okay, that's something that's important. But also, in exchange for that, maybe you get their card, you can contact them, and you can work on getting those sales channels going again. Lastly, you want to hang out after the meeting. you want to find out what your prospect was and who your best prospects are. Okay, they're going to be a good, sizable group of people who aren't really going to be fit for your product or service, and that's okay. But you want to focus on the 10%, 20%, whatever the number is, folks that are good prospects for your product or service. And of course, the most important thing to remember is whenever you give a free speech, you eat for free. Well, that's all for this week. I hope you guys found some value in what we talked about, and I hope it puts you guys on top of the world too. We'll see you guys next week.